Formula One, a sport that spans hearts, minds and nations, where the 20 best drivers in the world come together to take on some of the world's most historic circuits. And that legacy continues today. The 2021 championship was thrilling from start to finish, and 2022 is set to be even better. New regulations will usher in an age of pioneering changes. New driving talent alongside returning champions will be dueling it out to the bitter end. The pressure will be on the team principals in the upcoming season as they manage their drivers, their cars and the whole team to push to victory. This is not a challenge for the faint-hearted. This is Formula One. Mercedes returned to F1 in 2010, and since 2014 they've won the Constructors' Championships back-to-back every year. In 2021 they took home the Constructors' Championship once more, although they narrowly missed out on the Drivers' Championship, coming in second. Heading into 2022, Mercedes will insist on dominating the competition. Nothing less than the fastest car and the most wins will give the Silver Arrows the outcome they want to see at the end of this new season and beyond. The Red Bull team burst onto the F1 scene in 2005, and ever since 2009, they've been one of the top 3 teams in the championship. Last season ended brilliantly for them. Max Verstappen won the prestigious Drivers' Championship, and Red Bull are flying high once more. Heading into 2022 under the right leadership, Red Bull could find themselves heading up the pack once more. They'll certainly be hoping to end the season with not 1 but 2 championship trophies for their cabinet back home in Milton Keynes. Ferrari have entered Formula One every year since the World Championship began back in 1950. They still hold the most championship titles of any team. The team had a solid season in 2021, securing 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari are very much in it to win it. With strong leadership over the 2022 season and beyond, expect to see them fighting for those podium places. If all goes well, they'll be aiming for that top spot as the seasons progress. Alfa Romeo boast an impressive Formula One history, dating right back to 1950 when they won the very first Drivers' World Championship. However, 2021 saw them finish in 9th overall, with no podium finishes to their name. The team usher in 2022 with a brand new driver lineup. They're joined by F1's first ever Chinese race driver Zhou, as well as veteran Valtteri Bottas, as they build their way back to becoming regular point scorers. McLaren are a cornerstone of F1, having been part of the sport since 1966 and winning numerous drivers and constructors' championships over the years. Last season they came a respectable 4th overall, with Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris securing the only 1-2 finish of the season. The talented driver pairing of Ricciardo and Norris returns for McLaren this season, and one thing is certain, they're not going to settle until they're reigning champions once more. Alpine was a new name in 2021, bringing F1 drivers Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon back into the spotlight. Alpine finished the 2021 season in 5th place in the constructors' standings, with their first race win secured by Ocon at the Hungarian Grand Prix. 2022 will be a formative season for Alpine as they return with the tried and trusted driver pairing of Alonso and Ocon. In a few years' time, with the right leadership, they could well become championship contenders. Haas joined F1 back in 2016, and they've had a good start to their team career, peaking at 5th place in 2018. Last season they finished 10th, but they spent a lot of time and focus on designing their car for 2022 and strategizing for the future. Going into the 2022 season, Haas hope to have a strong car design under their belts. Coupled with hungry drivers, an ambitious team and strong leadership, they'll be pushing their performance and fighting their way back to the midfield. 2021 was Aston Martin's first full season in Formula One. They roared onto the scene with Sebastian Vettel, the legendary four-time world champion, in one of those coveted driving seats. Despite some teething problems in testing, Aston Martin gave a solid showing and finished the season in 7th place overall. Heading into 2022 with Lance Stroll and Vettel behind the wheel, Aston Martin have the potential to become regular podium contenders. But it's going to take strong leadership and shrewd investment to get them there. AlphaTauri have been a name in Formula One since 2020. They're renowned for being the proving ground for talented new F1 drivers. Last season they ended in 6th overall. Driver Pierre Gasly also earned them an impressive podium finish in Baku. Heading into 2022, the team continued to develop their current driver pairing of Yuki Tsunoda and Gasly. They'll want to continue scoring regular points and begin working their way past the other midfield contenders.
Hi there, nice to meet you. I'm Audrey Mensah, one of the team's senior engineers. Welcome to the team. It's great to have you on board. We have a strong driver lineup here at McLaren and a great team behind the scenes. And we're all feeling optimistic for this upcoming season. Let's not waste any time getting you settled in. As our new team principal, you're responsible for a lot of aspects of the team. Everything from managing our team's growth, overseeing our finances, and deciding on race day strategies will be in your hands. You can keep an eye on most things from your dashboard here. I can take you through it now. First up, an overview of the board. They're the ones who set the expectations for the team. If they're confident in your leadership, you'll be fine. If they lose confidence in you, however, they might look to replace you. The board sets season objectives for the team to achieve. Reaching them will help keep confidence high, so be sure to familiarise yourself with what's expected. You'll want to keep an eye on the long-term objective for beyond this season as well. Okay then, let's look ahead to the race weekend. We need to start preparing for the next Grand Prix, which will be the first of the season. As it's your first day though, there's nothing urgent for you to address. Feel free to explore more, or you can select continue and sign off for the day. Once you do, time will pass, but don't worry about missing anything. You'll automatically sign back in if an important event comes up. This is your calendar for the month. Pay attention to the events that have been marked. The race weekends have already been added for you. More events will get added as the season progresses. This is where you'll carry out your final preparations for the next race. We'll come back here later. One of my favourite places. This is where the car builds happen, and where we develop and store our car parts. Throughout the season, you'll want to make sure the team are working on upgrading components, and that both cars are being kept in good repair. You can also use car analysis to compare our car builds to other teams. This is where you'll find relevant information on the team's drivers and reserve driver. including their performance ratings and contract details. You can also scout for new drivers to make sure we have the best driver pairing we can. It's not just the fastest car that makes a team the best in F1. It's the people doing the hard work behind the scenes. Manage your staff from here, from department heads to your pit crew, and keep up to date on their performance. From here, you can see all the team's facilities, from the staff buildings to the car part development centres. You can build new facilities or, if the team has the time and money, upgrade our existing ones. Facilities affect all areas of our team's performance. Over time, facilities will degrade and become less effective, so keep an eye on their condition. When this happens, we'll need to look at refurbishing or even upgrading that facility to get back to maximum efficiency. Don't forget to check in with the board often. You can monitor board confidence levels, your available budget, and your progress towards a greater team rating from here. Here, you can delve deeper into team finances and see our balance, as well as understanding information on income and rewards, and the enforced spending caps we have to abide by. It's no longer your first day. We'll have you on top of things in no time. You'll continue moving through days this way until it's time for the race, which you can see in the upcoming events list. It's good to get in the habit of regularly checking that list. Let's take a look at what needs doing today. You have an alert in the top corner. There's an important email awaiting a response, so you should check your inbox when you're ready. Looks like you've received a budget approval request. Most of the team's budget is decided by the board at the start of the season, plus whatever we get from last season's prize money and any extra sponsorship revenue we earn. I reckon that's a good decision. It should keep the team in high spirits anyway. Now that's dealt with, we can focus on our first Grand Prix of the season. The race weekend is still a few days away, so move forward when you're ready. There's always some final work to do before we can set off. Check your inbox for the race prep report on this weekend's circuit. Okay, you have all the information you should need. Let's head to race preparation to see if there's any remaining tasks for us to complete. This is your race preparation area, where you'll get the team ready for the upcoming race weekend. You can also find all the information you need on the circuit we're racing on here. One thing you'll always need to do before each race weekend is setting our performance targets. These help us generate more potential rewards for the team. Here we've got the performance targets for this coming weekend. If we meet these, we'll gain extra revenue. Looks like we've got incentives for both the qualifying session and the race. If we can reach those targets, we'll get an additional payout, and it won't cost the team anything if we don't meet them. You can also decide to add targets here and offer our sponsors guarantees. These are a risk, as we face a potential financial loss if we don't meet them. But if we do, we'll gain a much larger reward. Okay, if you want to offer a guarantee for this weekend and raise the team's potential rewards, now is your chance. That feels like something we can achieve without too much difficulty. The reward if we meet the guarantee is good, and the potential loss doesn't seem too bad either. Okay, we're done here. Let's head back. You've done everything needed, and the team can't wait to get started. It's time for the first race of the season. You can take some more time to look around if you like. When you're ready, let's get this show on the road.
Welcome to the archipelago of Formula One. Bahrain might have a small land footprint, but it's showing its big spirit right now in the grandstands. Either way, it's time for another fantastic weekend of Grand Prix racing. The Bahrain International Circuit is a challenging track, and the cars routinely have to brake from high gear to low to take the narrow turns. With the need for downhill braking, the risk of locking up is one drivers will need to manage. It's all about focus and balance to get victory here. We might still be early in the season, but that doesn't mean we can sit back and relax. Everything is up for grabs, and nothing is certain at this stage. The weekend begins here.
Great to see you again. Welcome to your first race weekend with the team. It's Friday, so we're kicking off with free practice one as usual. Over here is our race preparation area. This is where you can make any changes you need ahead of the upcoming practice session. Rest assured the team have already prepared the cars for practice. When you're ready, we can continue to the practice session. During race weekends, you can decide whether you want to manage the practice sessions yourself or whether to hand over control to your team. As it's your first race weekend, you should let the team handle the practice sessions.
Welcome back to what is proving to be an exciting weekend of Formula One action, with practice having finished and qualifying set to follow. Excitement is really picking up here today, the anticipation continuing to grow within the paddock. With free practice now over, drivers will have to know this circuit inside and out if they're to gain a strong position on the grid. 20 cars take to the track, all with aspirations of taking pole. Here we go, folks. It's time to get started.
To help maximise our drivers' performance, the team have them work on 3 goals during practice: track acclimatisation, car parts knowledge, and setup confidence. If you manage the session yourself, you might get an even better performance from the drivers for the rest of the weekend. Right, time for qualifying. Our results here will determine where we start on the grid for Sunday's race. Qualifying takes place over 3 knockout rounds, and only the fastest drivers will advance each time. Same as practice, the team can handle qualifying for you if you like. Let's get you hands-on for this round though, just to make sure you're feeling confident before race day kicks off. Our drivers need to be setting their fastest possible lap times, so we can advance to the next round of qualifying. The slowest 5 cars will be knocked out. Keep a careful eye on time remaining. The time limit on qualifying rounds really ramps up the pressure. Right then, let's get a car out on the track for its first run and see how it goes. Each car is fitted with a number of onboard cameras, so you can see the action as it happens. You can also use the map view if you like. It gives you a good overview of the whole track and all the cars. Remember, you're managing 2 drivers throughout the session, so make sure to keep an eye on both of them. That's a decent time for a flying lap. Keep an eye on the stand-ins throughout the session, and try and keep the drivers out of the knockout zone. Right then, that qualifying run is done, so the driver will return to the pits now. I know everything happens so fast over a race weekend, but if you need to catch your breath, you can pause for as long as you like. Or, if things aren't moving fast enough for you, you can speed up a little.
Daniel, pit lane.
Copy. Remember the pit lane speed limiter.
Our driver is back in the pits. You need to reconfigure the car before we can send them back out. Let's go and take a look. The team will make sure the run plan is updated to include refueling. So all you have to do is fit some fresh tyres. Here you can see all the tyre compounds available this weekend. When making any changes, just be sure you're considering both the condition and the compound of the selected tyre. We want maximum performance during qualifying, so let's use a fresh, soft compound tyre. Soft tyres are the fastest in dry conditions. Confirm the configuration with the team when you're happy. wouldn't recommend using these tyres. We'd be best using a fresh soft set for the current conditions. But the car is ready to head back out at your say-so. It's probably best to do at least one more run before the end of the round, unless you're feeling very confident about our time so far. The track will have more grip later in the round, but there will also be more traffic. It's up to you to decide when you want to send the car out. Whatever gets us through to Q2.
Landing pit lane.
Okay, understood. And just remind you to use the pit limiter in the pit lane.
Daniel, pit lane.
Copy. Remember the pit lane speed limiter. Pit lane speed limiter.
Landing pit lane.
Message understood.
wide! Let's take a look at the replay. Now let's look at this. Here's George Russell. And they've gone wide. Way wide. Look at that! They've run wide! Here's the replay. Taking a look again, it involves Sebastian Vettel. They go wide right off the racing line.
Okay, Lando, that is the end of the session.
Daniel, pit lane.
Copy.
Remember the pit lane speed limiter.
Yeah, confirm landing pit lane.
Understood. And just remind you, use the pit limiter in the pit lane.
We're through to Q2. Great work. In Q2, the fastest 15 cars from Q1 battle it out for only 10 places in Q3. Now let's push even harder for a place in Q3. It's up to you whether you manage the rest of the qualifying rounds. If you want, you can let the team take control, so you can focus on the upcoming race.
It's race day, with the teams and drivers ready and raring to go.
McLaren did a decent job during qualifying. This is a solid grid position, and it certainly has the potential to lead to good race results. We saw a solid qualifying performance from Ferrari, and they're sure to have their chance to push even further during the race. And the clouds today look very ominous, which means that teams may have to contend with rain at some point during the race.
But which team has perfected the strategy that will see them prevail today? Here at the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Right then, time for the main event, the Bahrain Grand Prix. This is a great time for us to get some early points under our belt. So let's stay focused and push hard. Each driver will need to make at least one pit stop to fit new tyres. On average, a pit stop will cost a driver about 25 seconds. So we need to think carefully about when to pit and why. Let's set a tyre strategy for our drivers now. We need to make sure we have a good plan for when we want the cars to pit. Every race weekend, the team will prepare some recommended strategies to choose from. Let's see what they suggest for this race. Okay, strategy A is a fast but risky option, relying on 2 soft stints and no hard compound at all. Strategy B is a well-balanced option, 2 soft stints and a nice long middle stint on a hard compound. Right, strategy C is a slower but safe option for this track. We'll tackle the final stint on a medium compound instead of a soft tyre. If you think a different approach could work, you can make changes to any of the team strategies or even create one from scratch. We can always adapt our strategy during the race, so we can respond quickly to changing conditions and stay ahead of the pack. Right, strategy A it is. This is going to need careful management to pull off, so keep a close eye on things. Okay, now to select a strategy for our other driver. It doesn't have to be the same for both. You should consider picking a different strategy for each driver. This gives us a chance to take advantage of in-race events and means we won't have both cars pitting on the same lap. That's both drivers with a set strategy in place. Right, let's head back to the preparation area and get this race started.
There's a very overcast night in store for the drivers, who are now lined up on the grid. Looking at Daniel Ricciardo. Slower than most yesterday, so today they'll be starting from the bottom half of the grid. Norris there, further down the grid. With their starting position in the back 10, they'll have their work cut out for them. Will their hard work pay off today? And this is it, the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
During the race itself, you can direct the team drivers in 3 main ways. Each option will help drivers increase their speed, but will come with a cost in different areas. Increased pace will improve lap times, but at the cost of increased tyre temperature and wear, which can lead to more pit stops and higher risk of tyre failure. You can instruct the drivers in how to manage their fuel. Using more fuel will give them more speed, but you need to ensure there's always enough left to finish the race, as refueling is banned. Finally, you can adjust the ERS strategies for each driver. Higher ERS strategies give the driver a boost of power when racing, but will also drain the car's battery. Timing and battery management are everything here. If a driver needs an additional performance push for a short time, they can adjust their ERS strategies and use any battery charge they have. There are 3 ERS strategies that deploy more energy than they harvest, but each use that energy for a different purpose. Overtake and defend are best for getting ahead of cars or for keeping them behind you. Deploy is the fastest strategy available. Harvest will prioritize charging up the battery instead of using energy for performance. Neutral will maintain the current battery charge over a lap, which gives a nice balance of energy deployment and harvesting.